Hello and welcome to the Homeowner Show. So glad you guys could join us for a special live solar eclipse edition of the show here in 2024. We're excited to get to hang out with you guys tonight. My name is Craig Williams, and I got lots of fun people in the house tonight. It's going to be a good time. We're going to cut it up. But we're not going to drink, are we, Steve?
No.
Even though we say...
Don't.
Okay.
I do not have a drink in front of me. You cannot force me to do it.
Yet.
Dude, get up on that thing. People can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna bring everybody in here real quick. Let's see. Kevin's not here, so I'm running all of the video.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Boom. Got it. All right. So top of the screen, we're gonna go. Everybody knows who I am. All right. So then we got Steve. Everybody,
Yes.
let everybody know who you are, Steve.
My name's Steve Spoon. I own a company called Victory Insulation. It's a family-owned company. We do all types of insulation. We also have broadened ourselves out into the door and window world. So we're now launching Victory Windows.
Woo.
So that's what we do. And to my left,
Yep, we got Jojo.
Hey, y'all. I'm Jojo. I own Affordable Air Repair with my husband and the Net Level Up Networking.
Awesome. And then last but not least,
Corey Reaves, husband and wife real estate team, Reaves Realty Group out of Montgomery, Texas, and also part of the wonderful Net Elite Level Up. So anyway, happy to be here.
awesome. So did you guys lose all of your family members today in the eclipse rapture, or was it just some? The chosen.
I come from a long line of degenerates. We're all still here.
You're all still here. Congratulations.
We'll be here for a long time. Don't you worry.
Oh, I'm excited for it.
You asked.
so if the aliens come, what you're telling me is they're not going to pick your lineage.
The aliens are already here.
Oh, God, here we go.
See, what you didn't know is today was the day that they all left.
Oh.
They needed the cover for the daylight departure.
Gotcha.
That's why they won't text me. back. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. I want to hear what was. I know everybody's heard one.
Oh, yeah.
So, what was the favorite one that you heard over the past? Well, and we've been knowing this is coming for like months.
For sure.
So the buildup has been incredible.
Right.
What was the favorite conspiracy that you heard about the eclipse?
Who wants to go first?
You do.
You
I do.
You're dying.
Okay.
I
I have so many.
I think that JoJo's probably going to have the juiciest one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go ahead and go first.
I have so many. This is one of my favorite fear-mongering people on TikTok. He just like, the world is always ending. The most recent one, he's using the eclipse. He said, with the path of totality from today versus the path of totality in 2017, it like makes an X over Texas. Over America.
Over America, yeah.
And it's basically the universe or God or whatever smiting America, and that we are going to reap what we sow.
Oh.
So that one was fun. And that earthquakes, it was going to trigger a lot more earthquakes too. And then he said something about the entire state of California will be underwater and most of like the Texas coast. So he like brings up this map in his green screen. So apparently everything should be underwater right now, including us.
Oh.
So I need to go to his comment section later, but
Or just take a swim class.
Yeah.
so good. Yeah.
Well,
that's
so like
his.
the earthquake one is weird because they had one in New York the other day.
Oh yeah, he was all over it.
Yeah, I bet.
It was like
Did y'all know
the
that?
Super Bowl for
Oh, yeah.
him.
It was like a 4.6 or something like
yeah,
that.
they had one.
Yeah.
They had one in New York, and they also had one. Where was it? It was in Southeast. They also had.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Man, I want to say it was like Atlanta or the Carolinas or something where you don't
Usually.
think
Right.
earthquake. Yeah,
Right.
they had.
There's a great clip of a news anchor like doing the live news, and all of a sudden the earthquake hits, and like he screams like a little girl and ducks under the desk. It's great. It's great. He looks like a really masculine dude, and all of a sudden he turns into a 5-year-old kid, and he just goes under the desk.
I love that for him.
Yeah, the one in New York was actually outside of Jersey.
Yeah.
And they felt it all the way in New York City. And it was not just a short tremor.
Yeah.
It was shaking buildings.
People were freaking out. For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Hide under desk and everything.
well, we had one in Midland last summer, right?
Really?
An earthquake?
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, there's like a lot of stuff out there.
Have y'all ever been in one before?
I've never, well, not a real one.
I haven't either.
How do you have a false one?
They have
Like
You
a
have a false earthquake.
in Universal
A tremor?
Studios they had a
Oh,
sound
okay.
stage where they could simulate an earthquake.
Yeah.
And it was
Well,
scary.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would? Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it was a sound because what was that famous movie? I mean, it's about an earthquake.
Sure.
Was it named Earthquake?
It could be. I don't know. I think I
Sorry.
was like 7. You know, it was like
Oh,
Sure.
wow.
You
Okay,
know-
that's actually scary for a 7-year-old.
yeah. So it was, but like you go in and like there's like a subway station and a subway car and like they start shaking the whole room and there's fire and just all kinds of stuff happening. So it's a simulated one.
I got you.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
I think my mom had like one of those plates that's supposed to shake you. That's kind of like an earthquake, right?
Could be.
So you got the band tied around it and
Yeah, I
you
do.
set it for a little
Yeah,
while.
it's like the same thing.
Yeah, then you add infrared to it.
I've
You
been-
think you're sweating?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been there, done that.
Yeah.
That was a visual I do not need to see.
What, me jiggling?
Yeah.
It's glorious, my
Great,
friend.
great. You know, they actually charge money at spas for that, right? So,
That and pictures of my feet.
yeah, that's a real thing.
How's that business
link in
working
the
for you?
comments. Link
Yeah.
in the comments. Yeah.
I'm not going to mention any names,
How's
but I
that
know
business
people that
working
do
for
that.
you?
See,
money.
somebody's right here. So that ride was great. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, somebody else wrote it.
So
What?
The one
weird.
other guy.
I
In-
can't
in-
get over that. That's
I mean,
weird
what,
to me.
in 1980?
Yeah, I was born in 80. Come on. Come on.
Come on.
87.
there.
No way.
Well, if you math,
Oh, my God.
I was 7.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm old.
We'll fact check you later.
Yeah.
Math is hard.
All right, so we have the intersection in America that's going to
Yes.
destroy everything.
That was real. Like, it was an intersection.
Was
Like,
that
that part was real. It
Was
is
that the
like an
same
X.
thing? Where is it the intersection of the eclipses? Is that what
No,
it is?
it's like 2017 it was going one way, and then today
the
it went
pathway.
the other way. So the two pathways are literally an X over America.
Okay.
Yes. And
that's-
we're supposed to be underwater right now.
Is
so.
that the same one as like the Hebrew symbol that's showing up in the pathway? No.
Tell me about that one.
No,
I haven't heard of that one.
I want to hear from everybody else.
Okay,
first.
okay,
No, I was
okay,
just
okay.
curious if it was the same thing.
Yeah.
So, all right, which one did you hear this week?
Well,
Wait, what is that?
Iced tea.
No, next to it. What is that?
that's my phone.
That's a phone?
Yeah,
That's a
dude.
phone.
Why does it have like a keychain on it?
Oh, well, that way
Is
you
that a
can-
keychain or a bottle opener?
What kind of phone is that?
It's a Z5 Flip.
It's a kickstand.
And it's a kickstand,
Does
and you
it-
can also add.
Is that a screen on the back?
It is.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. Yeah. I
How long
love
have
it.
you had that?
This is my second one. I had the 3rd generation, and then I upgraded to the 5th a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold it up to the screen up there. People can see.
Technology has gone
Yeah,
so
see?
far, we've gone backwards back to a flip phone again.
Yeah, a flip phone that does everything.
It's a cool razor.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Cool.
It's a cool
Yeah.
razor.
And if you take the,
Only
I
the
broke a
cool
lot of those,
kids
by the
had
way.
those. Yeah.
and it's like super thin. I mean, this is with the case on it.
Well, that's a
So-
case
That's
on
pretty
there.
cool.
I thought
Yeah.
that was just the phone.
No, so here, for entertainment purposes.
Yeah. I want to see.
Wait, Apple's not sponsoring those podcasts.
Well,
okay?
they might need to like think about
But
that.
they can jump in the DMs.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
Oh, that's slick.
and
That's
that's
an Apple
slick.
That is
product?
pretty cool.
Is
No,
it
it's Samsung.
Oh, just kidding.
so? Like when it comes together, is that magnetic right there? No, it's
it's
just
spring hinge.
okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
isn't that cool? And the camera is amazing on
That's
that
the thing is, all the Android phones tend to have like better cameras.
Yeah, I mean, I would take pictures with that and videos, and like, God, your
Yeah,
camera
you
qualities
do.
are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
That's cool, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to like.
Oh no.
No, I've just never seen that. Well, especially with like the hook thing on the.
Well, this was
Bottle opener?
Yeah.
it's you can clip it on a I guess I'm not a girl, but obviously but you can clip it on a purse, your belt loops, or
That would
whatever.
clear that up.
Yeah.
But it also is works
know he's
great
got
as
a man
a
purse
kickstand.
somewhere.
So
For sure.
Because that was
Yeah.
the first thing that came to his mind.
yeah,
For sure.
So
Yeah,
well,
just saying.
I've seen a lot of ladies do that
It-
and clip
it-
them on.
It is a little blingy.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust it because for $1,200 I'm not going to sling a phone around. But
No.
but I do like it because you can grab.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can-
I like
you ever
that
catch
too.
yourself like
I swing it.
yeah, like a pistol swinging?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll sit there and spin it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would do with
That's
that.
what I would
That's
do
what I
too.
do. Yeah. No, it's a true story. It happens.
I want like a holster though that I can.
But the coolest thing about
Quick
it
draw.
is
That's right.
like if I'm going to take a picture and I want to see the picture, you can actually do a screen view
Yeah.
where if I want to look at the picture I'm taking, you can actually see it and set it. Everybody see that? You can set the timer on it, right?
Hey.
And then I can sit here and watch what the picture's going to look like so you can all get in the screen and count the timer down. And
Oh,
it
that's
actually
cool.
takes it with the front camera.
I do like that.
Instead of a selfie camera, you get the full camera.
That's cool.
And
That's cool.
And you can screen yourself in it.
I don't
See,
like
what-
cameras that are too nice though.
There you go. See, I'm taking a picture of you right now.
Because
I make all of them look
I don't
bad.
need to. I don't need to like be. I don't need all
See,
of
look
this
at
in like HD.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Isn't that cool? So everybody see that?
6 feet.
There it is, right there. And that was taken with it flipped over with the front view.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
You
Technology,
could add
right?
that to your feet thing,
Yeah.
To my what thing?
to your profile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good. I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, send it to you. There you go.
All right, conspiracy. Which one did you hear
Well,
that you liked?
we're all still here.
Okay.
As of we've still
we
got
can-
a few
Sure.
hours.
we can
Sure.
check that off the list, right?
Well, I don't know. It's not midnight yet. So,
true.
I am driving the 4-wheel drive Jeep tonight, just in case I need to go off-roading and running from zombies.
There you go.
So the zombie apocalypse has not happened as of yet.
Is that one that you
Yes.
heard?
Yes.
Zombie apocalypse.
Yes, with the solar eclipse, it was supposed to awaken the dead.
And
Like-
I,
Ooh.
and I didn't bring my zombie killer AR-15.
Oh,
That's
man.
fun.
This was the chance for
It's supposed
everybody
to
to
awaken the
use what
dead.
they've been saving up for their entire life.
So the true conspiracy is they want us to burn all the ammo we've been stockpiling for all this time
Right.
on
There
the
it
zombies.
is.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about.
Yes, absolutely.
So was it something particular about the eclipse that was going to cause the apocalypse? Is this okay?
Yeah, it's a once in a lifetime event, so they were looking at it that this was
Why
like
do people say that? Because it's not though.
yeah,
Well-
it's not because we got another one in 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
actually,
is it a total eclipse in 20 or
it
is
is
it
2024 August 15th, if I'm correct on that. It's supposed to be a complete totality and do most of the United States, including the
44,
South.
not
Yeah.
24, 44.
44? That's
Is it 44?
That's what I
We've
heard.
got
The next one
another.
was.
No,
We are
not
to
24.
24.
Not 24. 44 or 45.
No, it's 44.
Is it 4? I put it on
Yeah.
a slide tonight.
Yeah,
when
you
we
did. I don't
yeah.
remember though.
I had to look. Maybe it's
I remember the
45.
month is August.
So
yeah,
we,
it's 2045, I think.
Total eclipse of the heart.
we've got one coming in on the comment section here, so we ought to.
I'm sure I'll get corrected.
Well,
No,
I'm
no,
sure-
it has
I'm
nothing to
sure-
do. So I actually have questions about yours, but we can discuss this one. This is Ryan saying, "Who's going to argue that the Earth is a flat disc?" I'm popping popcorn,
I will.
which was one that I know that came
Sure.
out was like, "Hey, this proves it that the Earth is flat. That
Oh,
we're
Lord.
actually having a total eclipse."
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
my
how they get
thing
there,
is,
but-
like I can argue anything, even though I don't believe it. But like, what is the motivation behind? What is the benefit of us having believed that it's round if it's actually flat? You know what I'm saying?
Like why
Like,
would they
if you're
hide
not
that it's
making-
flat?
Yes, if you're not going to make money off of it or get some kind of power,
Mm-hmm.
then what is the point of tricking an entire like human population?
Well, they're definitely making money off of it because like they make these videos and like hundreds of thousands of people watch them, and so like
That's concerning.
you can get the ad revenue off those videos. Like, and I bet you those guys, like if you have a decent YouTube page and you have a decent following, I mean they're turning 5 figures a month easy.
I'm in the wrong
Sometimes
dang industry.
6 figures if some of their videos hit millions of views.
Oh,
Sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean like 6 figures no problem.
My son watches some couple guys that are turning millions.
Right.
Millions. And I mean,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
kids. They're literally kids.
There's so I'll tell you guys about one right now just because we learned about it recently. There is a trend that most people don't know about on like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram of videos where guys will purposefully mispronounce common words.
Yes.
And they do it because they know that it's going to drive the comment section and get their video up in the algorithm.
Yep.
Because people will get on there and tell them how stupid they are.
Right.
For mispronouncing, spaghetti or, whatever it is. Like
Yep.
it's just it'll be some stupid word. They're like, what? Who is this dumb person that doesn't know how to pronounce razor or what? I don't know, whatever it is. And it works.
Yes.
And in Genius, they're not the stupid person after
No,
all, right?
no.
Yeah.
And like I picked up on it because my wife has been watching. She's like on a really strict diet from her doctor right now, and there's these cooking videos that she's been watching. And like, I love to cook. I know all the verbiage, so I'm listening to this guy. I was like, this guy's a moron. And I'm wanting to take the phone away from him. I need to correct
text,
this guy.
Of course, yeah.
And then I realized what was happening is like he's baiting me.
You got rage baited.
Yep,
Yeah.
I did. So it was legitimate though. He was very wrong.
Well, it's the same thing with posts, right? People misspell, and the first thing somebody does is correct them.
Oh, yeah.
All it does is drive algorithms.
People love to correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, Steve, what did you hear?
Okay. So the disclaimer is, I'm not the one that originally said this.
I think okay.
Okay.
I think that's
Sure,
fair
sure, sure.
to say of all of ours. We did not create
driving
them or
down the
think
road,
them.
Right? I'm driving. I'm going to just tell you all what this is all about. First, when it gets dark, your car lights are going to come on. It's just going to naturally happen. I'm like, driving down the road. I'm like, okay, right? I'm waiting for the punchline, right?
Yeah.
Next one is, if you're driving a solar car, please pull out of the moving lane because it's going to die. I'm like, all right. And he says, and the third thing, look at you. He says, and the third thing is what's going to happen is it's going to get dark and all the gingers are going to come out. And if you let them get anywhere near you, they're going to suck your soul out and you're going to go home with freckles. And I was laughing so hard, I almost drove the car off the roadway. That is just priceless. Don't get me wrong. I love all people. I don't care what color your hair is.
Just not redheads.
But that was funny.
That is pretty funny. My 7-year-old
that.
did not try to suck my soul, by the way.
But that is
Hang on, it's only 9:30.
Yeah, it's not midnight yet. Just let
I've
you know
got a
that.
picture of him passed out on the floor. So he missed his calling.
What's going to happen?
He's going to walk lightly when he gets home. That's what
11:45. He's going to crawl in bed, and all of a sudden he's going to have that parent doing that child standing right there, and he's going to be like,
Yeah,
"Oh my God, Steve was right."
Yeah. It's like, Tristan, what are you doing, son? I'm here to suck your soul, Dad. No, dude.
it'll be fine.
Or throw up on you, one or the other, right? As a parent, it's either or.
Yes.
So that's my only one. But the world's obviously flat, and we never landed on the moon, right?
Right.
Because
Sure,
when
sure,
they
sure.
jumped out of
Sure,
the
sure,
spaceship, the guy on the other side of the camera standing there taking the video, right? Well, if they're the first people on the moon, who's filming it from
who's got the
far
camera?
away? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your biggest hang up with it?
No, it was a picture.
Can I take us
Really?
back to
As the
why?
guy jumps off and he bounces, right?
What is
Yeah.
this
Special
effort,
effects
though?
in '69.
Yeah. It was Stanley Kubrick, right?
Yeah,
Who's been running from the federal government for how long?
Yeah, hot minute.
Right.
Is he really on the run?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He had sexual relations with an underage girl,
That'll do it.
and he's been on the run from extradition since, what was it? 2001: Space Odyssey,
Yeah.
and all the
He's been on the run that long?
yeah. That's why he lives in countries that
Don't have extradition.
extradition to
Extradite, yeah.
U.S.
Oh,
Well, he can stay the.
He's an
heck
old
over
feller
there.
now. He's not scampering around real fast. We can catch him.
Put it this way: with the might of the federal government, don't let anybody ever think that they can't go get somebody if they really want to go get them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the
Sure.
I mean, not to go other. But that was the whole John McAfee thing, right? Like it was like 2 weeks before he died. If I show up dead, I didn't do it, and then he shows up dead, and you're like, well,
Have you ever watched that deal on Netflix about him?
Mm-mm.
Oh, he screwed with a lot of people.
Oh,
from,
yeah.
From like, cartels to, and he
From what I understand, he was like blackmailing the government because he got his software on like every computer, and then just started like pulling data, and was like, hey, I got this.
not only that, but he had it in the very beginning where he could flip the switch and shut it off.
Right.
And so you got Fortune 500 companies that are like, you can't hold me ransom.
Yeah.
right?
And I will. That's exactly what he said.
And that's why he lived in a country that had no jurisdiction of the U.S. government.
I think he was like in South America or something, wasn't he?
Costa Rica.
Was it Costa Rica?
It's,
Costa
it
Rica
was an
doesn't
island. I remember
Doesn't
that.
have an extradition. Yeah.
That's crazy. Sorry, you were asking
Costa Rica, you said?
where I need
Taking
to
that
go
air
after this
conditioning money for the
podcast.
ride, aren't you?
Yeah.
I might.
The Earth is flat. It should be an easy trip.
I might know some homeowners there.
There you go.
Might know some people.
Okay.
Just
Be a
saying.
nice house over there. Heck
Just
yeah.
throwing that out there.
yeah.
Might
Okay.
have a pool.
Might
have a view.
Might have a listing.
Nice. Yeah.
Might be close to the beach.
You know, these are all just theories, right?
And that person lives right next door to P. Diddy. Just saying.
I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole.
Oh, that's funny.
That is funny,
Man. So the one, so there's lots of them that I heard. One I think is weird because it was an Alex Jones one.
Who's that?
Alex Jones?
Yeah.
He started InfoWars. He's the guy that got sued by the parents of the kids that got shot in the school shooting when he claimed that it was faked.
Oh. He
Which
sounds
school shooting is
fun
that?
at parties.
Say what?
Which school shooting
Was
was
it
that?
Parkland?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or the elementary one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he,
well, that doesn't narrow it down.
yeah, but Alex Jones is an interesting one because he's just like, he's really aggressive and loud. But he's been right about some stuff, but then he's just like, he was the guy that got, like, the one they make fun of him the most is that the frogs are gay. And you guys have never heard this?
No, dude.
Seriously?
I like Kermit.
I don't hang
Don't screw
out
on
with a
my
lot
visions
of.
of Kermit, dude.
So,
Come
I
on.
don't hang out with a lot of
I
frogs.
think Kermit
so.
like Miss Piggy, and we all know it.
So here's the problem with him is he uncovered a secret society in the U.S. and it was legit. Like he uncovered it. He's got video of it. He's got video, and it's the it was the one that like Mark Twain was a part of.
Mason?
No, it's
Illuminati,
no, it's
Skull and
It's
Bones.
Illuminati.
it's like Skull and Bones, but it's not Skull and Bones, and it's like but it's more like religious in nature. Like it's something Grove. Man, I can't think of it. Anyway, he snuck into it and like captured one of their rituals like on video.
Uh-oh.
And then found out that there was a lot of like top level government people who were part of it, and then like
Naturally.
confronted them on the street about it, and they got really angry
Naturally.
and all this kind of stuff. Are you looking it up? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank
on
you.
That fancy phone
Well, okay.
with the bottle opener.
So anyway, and then the other one was that the frogs are gay, and that was before we knew Bohemian Grove. Thank you.
Yes.
Does he have firsthand with
Some
the? Nope,
Bohemian
I don't want to know
Club.
about the frogs. Never mind.
So what it is like frogs. There's what they found
mean-
out is that he was saying that they were putting chemicals in the water that were making people that way. And the evidence of
yes,
it
that
was
did
that
happen
we
to me,
had
yes.
frogs that were gay. And it wasn't that the frogs were gay, it's that the frogs were actually able to change their sex.
Oh.
So
okay.
they were, but they weren't.
Sure. It's a little above my head.
So anyway, he is a known conspiracy theorist.
Well, snook can actually do that.
Snook?
Snook.
What's that?
Snook is a fish.
Oh.
Yeah, we used to catch them in Florida, and they're absolutely amazing, but there's size limits based on how big they are. And, normally it's the bigger the fish you can keep them, the smaller you have to throw them back. Snook are different. You're only allowed to keep them in a certain range between so small to so big because that's when they change from male to female.
Huh.
Whoa.
So you don't keep them too small because they're male. If they're too big, they're female. So if you keep those, you're taking out population.
Sure.
So you're allowed to catch them in I'd have to look. It's been a while since I've been in there fishing. But it's 6 or 8 inch size limit, and it's in between the two when they're metamorphosing.
That's crazy.
True story.
So
Very
Snook
cool.
Snook.
Good thing I'm not
exclusively
drinking
like the big gals.
Yeah. There you go. So,
Hey, big girls need love too, okay?
so
It's only big girls in the Snook. I mean, apparently.
yeah. So
Love that for
thought
them.
maybe y'all might like that. I mean, we're going to talk frogs. There are actually animals,
Other-
other things
that's
that,
cool.
that do that.
That is really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and seahorses, the male carries the young. I don't know if y'all
I
knew
knew that, yes. Because I remember the whole time being pregnant thinking, God, make me a seahorse in the next life.
Yeah, I'm the wrong one. Right. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, love you, Stella, but
Yeah. I
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
Could have been more fun.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, we took a detour.
A little bit. So I'll bring it back. So his conspiracy was that these secret societies were going to use the eclipse to usher in the New World Order. That was the whole thing. It was like a religious ceremony, and like today was going to be the day that the New World Order gets birthed officially. So that was his thing. I've got this one story here from the Washington Times.
Yeah, that's credible.
Yep. No, this is fun.
Next, we'll be reading the Post.
Here we go. I'll pull it up on the screen so everybody can see.
I'm telling you, the Inquirer is real, dude.
My uncle posted this. Okay.
Is the Washington Times? Is it a rag?
All of them.
All of them. Okay.
Pretty much anymore.
Yeah, it's really. That's a whole different podcast.
I mean,
Sure. But like, this isn't like
Cronkite's flipping. He looks like a rotisserie in his grave. Just
Yeah.
I don't know much about newspapers. I assume the Washington Times is like a normal newspaper.
No,
it's not.
no.
What is it? Is it a rag?
It's stretching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
they're reaching.
It's a fun one.
Yeah.
This one's Wired. Wired. They have some stuff from time to time. Okay. So
I don't have a theory, but I have. My friend is Navajo, and she told me about. I guess you would call it a tradition, like what they do in their culture.
There's a lot of Native American stuff with eclipses. Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh,
she
absolutely.
actually scared me a little bit. Because I've like gone outside in the past and I've like showed my students, but she told me, she was like, stay inside. All of the windows are closed. Everything's closed because during that time there's Mother Earth, but then there's Father Sky, and something about when the moon is blocking the like good energy of the sun or something. It really, during that time, it leaves a lot of open vulnerability for bad things to, like when you're
Sneak
the devil's
out?
playground type
Yeah.
of vibes. And whatever you're doing during that time, what you're thinking, what you're doing is so much more powerful, and it manifests throughout the rest of the year. And so even though like I'm not even anywhere close enough to like talk on this kind of stuff,
Right.
it really interested me. And during that time, I listened to like one of my favorite albums, and I just journaled like anything that came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because it was raining, so you couldn't even see it anyways. Whatever.
Yeah, but it happened.
But yeah,
It did get super dark.
Yeah, and don't forget, Mercury's in retrograde.
Yes.
So you've got Mercury's
Mercury's
in
in the
retrograde.
microwave,
right.
yeah.
So you've got that playing with the solar eclipse, with the planets aligning. So we got a lot of things going
and
on.
we're in
If
the
I had
age of
known
Aquarius.
that I
Right.
would have, if I'd have known I would have needed my Farmer's Almanac to keep up with this, I would have brought one with me.
I see you.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
millionaires, I'm not millionaires, billionaires, they don't follow the like Western version of astrology with the 12 signs. There's like there's so much more into it. And then I know y'all are all God-fearing men and Christian. I do believe in God too, but there's in the Bible, it talks about how the astronomers and like the stars play a part in it, because like God made the stars, right? Y'all can agree with that.
Sure. Yeah. It's just like, what do they mean?
Yeah.
And like, what do you read into it?
Yeah.
That's where I get like.
That's where it gets fun.
We could get in the weeds, and then you get into the Big Bang Theory, right?
This
Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
problem I have with it though, is like
Yeah, let's
most
hear
of the people who were espousing some of these crazy eclipse conspiracy theories are like people from a like a Christian perspective. Like, did you guys hear about like the Nineveh one? No? Okay, I'll get into that in a second. But like my problem with it is all of a sudden people who think that astrology is evil all of a sudden are using astrology to make their case for this stuff. And I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, why are you even addressing this? It's because it fits into their narrative that all of a sudden it's convenient to do, and it's like, this is just silly. I don't even understand why you're so the Nineveh one's a good example. If you guys weren't aware of it, supposedly the path of the eclipse was going through like 7 cities, all named Nineveh.
Yes. Keep going. Yep.
And that had to do with like the intersection that happened in the United States. And then it was also going to pass through another city named Jonah. And so, like, there's this whole thing about how God won't destroy the world again with a flood, but it'll be under the sign of Noah, not under the sign of Jonah. And then everyone was freaking out because the path was going through all these cities named Nineveh. And this other person pointed out that the whole eclipse was happening under the astrological sign of the whale, which, like,
Jonah and the whale.
Jonah and the whale.
Right.
And so people were just flipping out. And, like, apparently there's, like, some Hebrew symbol that the shape of the intersections was making that's like a Hebrew symbol that means the end. So, like, they were putting all these, like, again, it's just like, to me, it's like weird. Really stretching to have, yes. But, like, it took off, like, I'll see if I can.
It got shared on my timeline.
The military National Guards over this. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember when I was a police officer in Y2K, everybody had to work.
Oh, yeah.
And they were telling us, like, days before, go to the bank. You need to have a minimum of $5,000 in cash.
Sure.
And I mean, you know, the kids were little at that time. I'm thinking to myself, I don't know that I got $5,000 to scratch together. What are you talking about? I guess I'm one of the ones with a gun. I'll be okay. But I mean, you know.
Sure.
You know, and the thing of it is cry wolf, right? I mean, isn't that what our modern day society does? Is they get on a roll, and if it gets any traction, they just pour on. It's an eclipse.
Yeah.
I can remember when I was, all right, shut up, y'all, but way back in the day, long before 1987, and we had to,
I remember the one in the 70s.
Okay.
We were when
poke
you
a hole
actually
in the paper, right? You went
or
outside.
take film, right? Did you do the negatives?
No.
All right, so you can use negatives. Remember
Right.
the old school negatives you pull out of film?
Right.
And you stack those together, and you can actually look at them through the negatives.
So they had us go take a piece of paper, poke a hole in it, and as the sun would go, you know, the moon would cross the sun.
Yeah, you'd watch
it on the ground go across, right?
Yeah.
And I remember that back then, and it was, wow, it's a big deal. Eclipse, okay, let's go back inside, and it was done. Now, thank you to social media, it's just like blown up, right?
All right, so I found a clip. You guys won't be able to see it, but you can hear it. It says it's 4 facts about Jonah and the April 8th eclipse. I don't know this guy, but it's the first clip that came up. I mean, it looks like it's like we can listen to it though, and so you guys can. I probably missed something.
We'll roll the dice.
Yeah, let's see what happens. He looks like a nice guy.
I'm sure it's legit.
Famous last words.
Scholar of the Bible and religion, and the fit for this video is the Thundercats. Ho. Fact number 1. The path of totality of this eclipse is not passing over 7 or 8 or 6 or 5 or 4 or 3 cities or townships or counties named Nineveh in the United States. It's crossing over 2, one in Ohio and one in Indiana.
So it's happening.
Here is NASA's map of the path of totality, and I have put in red the cities, the townships, the counties that are called Nineveh. Anyone who says that these cities fall inside the path of totality is either lying about where they're located or has manipulated the path of totality.
There are
Fact
some that are
number
close
2,
on the map.
The sign of Jonah has absolutely nothing to do with any eclipse or anything other than Jesus's explanation that it referred to the Son of Man being in the heart of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights, which is not even an accurate prophecy according to the Gospels themselves, which has Jesus dying on Friday, rising on Sunday, and only being in the tomb for 2 nights. So it is a rough approximation that has absolutely nothing to do with anything else. Fact number 3, the April 8th eclipse is not going to create an Aleph or a Tav
That was
with
the two symbols.
most recent eclipses that have passed over the United States. Here's a map of the paths of those eclipses. You cannot get an Aleph or a Tav out of this unless you just arbitrarily isolate specific segments of these paths. And the only reason to do that is because you're trying to create the impression of an Aleph and a Tav. This is pure and utter nonsense. In fact, number 4,
I like how
anyone
calm
who
he's just
says
like
that Jonah went
dismantling.
to Nineveh to preach repentance has never read the book of Jonah, because Jonah does not preach repentance. There is no option of repentance in the message that Jonah gives to Nineveh. That message has no conditions attached. It is just 40 days and Nineveh will be overthrown. The king then says, let's repent anyway,
And see.
and who knows, maybe God will forgive us. And that's what ends up happening, and then Jonah is mad. And Jonah's anger is justified because the Assyrians had brutalized the Israelites and the Judahites for centuries, had murdered, had pillaged, had raped, had...
So you guys get the idea. I mean, like, it's those were like the big four ones from that whole thing.
You gotta love his tone.
Oh yeah.
Any more subdued, and I'd have been asleep.
Yeah. As you were talking about brutalization and murder.
Yeah. It's just calmly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just going to kind of move on with
It's a Texas bedtime story. Now be nice.
Okay, so this one I bet this one says 2 million views.
There was an eclipse.
Hang on, I'm gonna bring it up so people can see. This one's got 2 million views. So this is exactly what I was talking about when you said, like, what's the motivation? Like this is, I bet you this is
Fear and anger.
There was an eclipse that took place 7 years ago, went right across America. There's another eclipse coming right across America. It'll make a perfect cross on the center of the nation.
God made the first sign go through 7 cities named Salem on August 21st, 2017.
The word Salem, according to the Bible, is peace. So God is saying 7 times he offered peace. The next eclipse is coming. It goes through several cities here. Nineveh, 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 Nineveh. Jonah gave Nineveh 40 days. God said, you've got 40 days to repent. Only the sign of Jonah will be shown to you, and that's right here now. 7 and 7. 7 cities called Salem, 7 cities called Nineveh, and 7 years apart. Right in the center of the cross is a city called Rapture. What is God's message? We've got 40 days. We've got to repent and seek God like never before. He's coming very, very soon.
This makes my head hurt.
this is So Rapture's not
but
even.
it got 2 million views.
It got 2 million views.
Because now I'm scared and I'm angry.
Yep.
That is the 2 primal things
Now
that
I'm researching it.
Yeah, no, but truly though, right? Well, you are one of the few because most of
I'm
us.
like, wait a minute. Let me see if this is facts. Yeah.
The one that bugs me is the intersection is rapture.
Yeah.
Because that's not even, honestly, that's not even like a biblical word the way that we use it. I mean, it's just not. No. I mean, like it's not like that's something that we got from like the Left Behind series that.
Okay, that's what I know. Like I was that age range when those kids. Yeah, that traumatized me.
Yeah.
Traumatized me.
So, but again, this is like that's all just like, I mean, like I don't buy into any of it.
No, but a lot of people do.
But like, here's the thing: is like they always do, and then but like, why don't they not afterwards when like nothing happens?
Well,
they thought was going to happen.
But wait, everything's true on the internet.
At least on YouTube.
Well, they can like do the dance and loop around it, and well, okay, maybe it's gonna be this next year, and well, we've got this next 40. Like the wheels will keep spinning.
Yeah, it'll be like, well, it wasn't this time; it's next time.
Yeah. I saw this great meme. It was like, you know, those punch cards you get for ice cream and pizza and stuff when you. It was like, I survived this many end of the worlds, and then it was like a bunch of punch cards.
Oh, that's good stuff.
That's awesome.
I was like, yeah, that's relatable. Because my mom, for Y2K, she unplugged everything in the house.
Nice.
Sure.
Right? Because, like, we didn't know, you know?
I went to New Orleans and got hammered.
I was 8 years old.
I wish I could have.
That's one way to go.
8 years old at the time, so I was definitely home.
You weren't in New Orleans getting hammered.
No.
I was on duty working night shift.
Yeah.
Because everybody in the county had to work. Nobody could have it off.
Everybody
had to work because it was going to be mayhem in the streets.
Yes.
You know,
everybody got hammered.
I can remember
Yeah.
literally like 10 minutes till everybody was like, okay, be prepared for no radio communication. All the radios are going to quit working. And, you know, all of us are thinking, why would the airwaves not work?
Yeah, right.
You know, but it could be ran by a computer. I mean, it was like just stupid, right?
Realistically, the only thing that was in question was the zeros and how it was going to count. So everybody blew that completely out of proportion.
Absolutely.
Because everything was always measured in two digits, right?
Right.
And then we've got, oh my God, 2000, we didn't account for that. So that was literally all it was, is we might have duplicate dates. How do we solve that?
Yeah,
And that
it
turned
went
into
from that to it's going to hit zeros all the way across the board, and everything's
Right.
going to lock up and quit
Yeah.
working, and the world's going to freeze, and
Yeah.
you know that's not going to the flat Earth is not
Yeah.
going to spin anymore, and you know.
Yeah. It's amazing how fast the banks, knowing that they had years, started preparing for that.
And that, wasn't it funny? Everybody that went to the bank for cash
Yeah.
had it.
Yeah.
Well, like this is
We really dodged a bullet on that one.
We have it on our punch card.
Yeah.
I'm serious, right?
like everyone that was concerned
Like a
about
Buzzles,
Y2K though.
snow
Like I'm more concerned about like an EMP.
That was exactly where my mind went for this. Not for the eclipse, but I think about that in general almost every day.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, just because like everybody's stuff is electronic now.
Yes.
Like all your money, all your, I mean, like just everything. And like you hit it with an EMP, take the system down, and like it gets Mad Max real quick.
Oh, real quick.
Oh yeah.
And
Like just imagine like you're driving a car and 9 out of 10 cars on the road all of a sudden just stop.
Like my old cars.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, well, then I also think I have a few friends that like work at NASA. No, y'all, I wish I had a tinfoil hat because I'd put it on so hard. I have friends that work at NASA. There's an
Everybody
entire
listening
like
to
little.
JoJo, should JoJo go get a tinfoil hat? Everybody out there? Because I want to see this.
There's a parking lot of cars in NASA. All of them are specifically bought by NASA for NASA that are only gas and diesel and have nothing to do with electricity.
Amazing
school
concept.
coils.
Right. Amazing. Points.
Yeah.
Distributors.
Yep.
there was actually a TV show about all this called Revolution. Did you guys ever see it? It ran for like one season. It was a post-apocalyptic show, but it was like this idea that the government released nanobots that removed all electricity from the world.
That's why I didn't see it.
And it's
I
awesome.
couldn't get through it.
You started watching it?
No,
I just didn't want to.
I would have skipped that.
You would
one.
have skipped it. I liked it.
Yeah.
People went back to like sword fighting
Okay.
and steam engines.
Well, I'm kind of cool with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You put a different turn on
So
it.
Do I still have indoor plumbing?
I guess you would.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
then
that's
I'm
not
in.
electric.
Sign me up.
That's gravity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, you wouldn't because the water is being pumped.
You got to have pressure somehow.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
I mean, I guess
don't
you
know.
could
The
get-
Romans figured it out. I mean, we go get the creek. I mean, we might have to redesign it.
You have to flush it with by pouring a bucket of water in there, but
Yeah.
it'll still go.
Yeah,
right?
you could get it to go.
Do that.
So have you? I don't know. I love podcasts, and I listen to different ones for different reasons. But have you ever listened to Sean Ryan's?
I don't even know who he is.
Sean Ryan is the guy. You can go back. He was in the teams, so he's a SEAL.
Okay.
He worked for Ground Branch, the black side of it. He's the one that taught Keanu Reeves how to shoot for John Wick. Blah blah
Okay.
blah.
Cool.
And he gets a lot of flack for that because Hollywood changes the reality of how you shoot. But
Of course
anyway,
they do.
Yeah.
You can't curve
he
a bullet.
struggles. So he's one of those guys that, in his podcast, and I think one of the reasons that I kind of bonded with this is because I have some of the same inner feelings about like what my worth is because of what I had to do in the name of man.
Right. Sure.
And but he has people on there of all walks of that world, of spies to generals to SEALs to Green Berets and blah blah blah. And he had a guy on there that was a spy, and he came out and said that if an EMP, and don't quote me because I'm paraphrasing all of this, but he came out and said basically if a EMP was fired off in Houston, LA, New York, and there was one more, and I don't know if it was like
Chicago
maybe. I don't remember. He said it would lock our country up for multiple years. And
Oh,
I'm not
for-
talking like
for
1,
sure.
2. I'm talking for a long time because it
Absolutely.
would fry the grid. And
Yep.
our grid is so unstable as it is right now.
Yeah.
That if one popped off in Houston, fourth largest economy in what? we're
In the U.S. for
in
sure,
the
yeah.
U.S. for sure, right? But I think it's even bigger than that.
I think it's like 8th in the world or something like that. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, the state of Texas sends a check to Washington, D.C. that's like, what is it? Something like $9+ billion.
I need to get on that list.
And we only receive like $300 million in roadwork grants and so on and so forth, right? If you shut down our economy, it would cripple the nation.
Yeah.
For sure.
Outright. And that's when you start talking about EMP, you really kind of hit home for a lot of people that don't know how to survive something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And look, we all know the crackpot that's got like 13 guns buried in the backyard in Cosmoline, right? We all know one, right? But you stop and think about it. He might not be as far off as what you think, right?
Sure.
Because we are that vulnerable. Now,
Yeah, but there's like this.
he's wearing the tinfoil hat with the armadillo's cap on top of it too.
And he's got zero water or
Yeah, right.
food or anything. So, yeah.
But I mean, like that, I think there's something different from like prepper culture, like what you're talking about, and just like having like a general sense of preparedness.
Well, it's not much different from the 50s when they put bomb shelters in there.
Well, that's
Yeah.
And it's the same
But
concept.
think about that was
Absolutely.
big business.
Well, shoot, yeah, it was.
Think about
Yeah.
that.
So were preppers. How many generators have they sold?
Oh, absolutely.
Fear
How many
makes
storage units?
money.
How many grocery stores have sold out?
Barometric chambers.
Fear
know what I'm
makes
saying?
money.
Yeah.
And
Well,
women are more emotional. Women are the buyers of the household, of course.
Sure.
You think I wasn't in that grocery
Start
store?
couponing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't need 5 things of toilet paper, but they're on sale. I'm
Yeah.
going to buy them.
Well, this was the kind of stuff that was actually driving a lot of the Eclipse stuff. Is there was some places that declared a state of emergency
Yep.
ahead of the eclipse, and it was like certain cities were doing that, and
Yeah,
people were like,
National Guard.
yeah, and they were like,
yeah.
why are they doing this? And like, I don't know why, but like people were like, well, this is just suspicious. We everybody there and that needs to get ready because something's going to
Small
happen.
towns, like if your town is like a 30,000 population and you're expecting 250 plus and you can't handle that.
Oh, you're talking about like the tourist
yeah.
places where people were going to
Yes.
go watch the eclipse. That was what the
Absolutely.
best explanation I heard was like people there can't handle the amount of people coming to see.
No, they're
No.
And so like
Oh.
there's a state of emergency to get your stuff in order before they get here and clear everything out.
Well, it's
Because
food,
the more
bathrooms,
people
everything.
Yeah.
in a room, the lower the IQ. And I'm not trying to be ugly about that, but like group mentality is really, the more people, the less critical, logical thinking. I can look at you three and have a great conversation.
Can you?
But you,
She's
They'll
trying
let me-
real hard.
they'll let me know in the comments, I'm sure. But you put 300 people in a room,
put a
I
tinfoil hat on.
can't talk to y'all the same way or get the same respect.
Well, you know that's got a name, right? It's
Well, yeah, what is it?
It's herd mentality.
There it is. Yes, herd mentality.
So
Yep.
that's you lead cows to slaughter, right? It's like one follows the other one, and they all
Yep.
go through the gate. So it's who's going to
That's
be
why
the
you have
leader,
Judas.
right? Yeah. So now we go back to that.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's true. You have a Judas heifer
Right.
that will take them all to slaughter, and right at the last minute,
He moves.
They pull her off, and
Yeah.
they
And
all
then
go
they
onto
just
the
keep
truck,
going.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, totally understand, and
Well, cows used to fall off of cliffs all the time because they just keep going. And
That's
it's like
so
they're,
funny.
they're sitting there
The
watching
thing
them
is-
die, and it's like, I might as well go.
well,
Looks
I'm
like a
gonna
good
follow my
ride.
buddy.
Now I want a
go
cheeseburger.
back and look at 2019.
You know,
We had exactly that. We had a run on toilet paper. Why?
Yes, yes.
Why was
Literally
that all of a
why.
sudden one of the things that you couldn't get a hold of?
Yes.
because COVID makes you crap.
Yeah.
No,
Apparently.
it doesn't.
Exactly.
Well, COVID scarred me from that. Like, I'm not like a prepper by any means, but I
But
had
she's got a whole closet full of toilet paper
I
now,
had a-
and it's the good stuff.
You're damn right it is. And I'm not telling you where I live. I had a baby during that time, and there was a formula shortage. So,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'd always leave one on the shelf. But if I could grab two,
Yeah.
you guarantee I'm gonna grab two.
Yeah.
And then I we had this network of
Oh,
moms.
sweet of you to leave one on the
like,
shelf.
Always, because I went to one time I had to go to 6 different stores, still didn't have it, cried on the phone to my mom who found it. Like, it was
I understand.
Yeah.
hard.
We were almost down to when they asked if you wanted paper or plastic. We were going for paper in the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So put the groceries in.
Yeah.
You remember those days,
Yeah.
right? So, you ever seen the Bud Light commercial?
So many.
Oh well, no, this one's great. So there's 2 guys, right, college students, and they're in the line, and they got one roll of toilet paper, and they have a 6-pack of Bud Light. And they pull out their wallet, and they only have enough for the Bud Light or the toilet paper.
Yes.
And they're like, well, which one do you want? You see the toilet paper sitting there, and they said, do you want paper or plastic? And they were like, paper.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's back when they had really good commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
sure.
kind of goes back to the thing. And
Absolutely.
I was working in off of Aldine Melrod at the time. I was product manager for a AC company. So we were all kind of on lockdown, but we were still working through COVID because we were doing industrial type stuff, and there was a lot of need for ventilation and things of that nature. And we really expanded our business on the Northeast and Northwest because of all the high rises and things of that nature. And we started developing HEPA filters and things of that nature that we could go slide into our fan coil units for the high rises where people were actually still living,
Right.
you know, and trying to clean air. Air scrubbers for the most part, right?
Yeah, that was huge.
We
during
couldn't
COVID.
find toilet paper in Montgomery County. I mean, we nowhere. So I was like, well, let me go look over here. Damned if I didn't find it off of Aldine Melroute, of all places. And they had a whole stock full. And I was like, damn, honey, you want two? I was like, we grabbed two. And I was
let's
like,
go ahead and get 'em.
But we were literally down to a half of a roll on the last roll. And the paper and plastic thing was fixing to be a real
Fear.
thing. Yeah.
It's fear.
Yeah. I was like, thank God.
Right.
And you don't understand the relief that I felt when I found
Yeah.
2 packages of toilet paper.
Felt like a hero.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and you turn right around and they drive the scare, and then you can't tell me that these retailers are like,
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
oh, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just like Home Depot got caught with all that lumber,
Oh, yeah.
right? I
We're
mean,
still paying for that.
they
Stop it.
we were paying, what was it, like $20 some odd for a sheet of plywood?
No,
Oh, yeah.
it was
Right?
ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. And you go to Canada, and it was all being produced and made, and they weren't taking delivery for it.
Right. Yeah.
And finally, the federal government comes to do an inspection, and they're like, what is all this lumber? And they're like, oh, it's shipping tomorrow. And all of a sudden, it's in the store.
So
It's
my
the same thing with imported crab and lettuce and all the other things. They were sitting on the dock and rotting because all the places that process it to bring it in were shut down.
Yeah.
So it wasn't for the
right.
lack of product. It was the lack of people to
Nobody
supply.
could work.
Nobody would work. Truck drivers, high demand. Nobody was in. Dude, you're driving a truck, for Christ's sake. You know, that's one of the most contactless
Absolutely.
industry you can be in.
That's why, to this day, you
But
see
fear.
somebody driving down the road
Yeah.
with a mask on,
Right.
and they're in the car all by themselves.
That's
and they're
not
like,
a good idea?
Are you kidding me? Seriously?
No, that's a good idea. You might get COVID off of somebody's exhaust pipe. You got to clean the air, man. Come on.
It's the aliens.
It is. The aliens. Dude, they put COVID in your air filter.
Awesome.
You got to protect yourself.
Awesome.
how else are they going to know if it works?
Yeah. Yeah. They watch
Dude,
Lord of the
my
Rings.
buddy Eric G, who has what's the name of his show? Anyway, At Home with around the House with Eric G. That's the one. He's up in Portland, which is where they manufacture a lot of the wood. Mm-hmm. And he called me one time, and he was like, "Listen," he was like, "What are you paying for like a sheet of plywood?" And I told him whatever it was. He goes, "That's what I'm paying right here, right now." I was like, "So what?" And he's like, "We make it here. We make
Yeah.
it here.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason for it. All these they're saying that the price is so high because they can't get it distributed, because they can't ship it, because they can't get close to the manufacturing." And he goes, "But I'm paying the same price you are." And actually, I think at the time he was paying more. He's like, "How are you getting that cheap?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's just what it is at the store.
Well,
It's
think of it
Texas,
this way.
baby."
Think of it this way. It's like gasoline, right? How is it that gasoline is, say, $3.50 a gallon in Houston, Texas, and it's $3.50 a gallon in Kansas City, Missouri? Well, there's no refineries in Kansas City, Missouri, but it costs the same identical amount.
Right.
How does that work?
Well, it's just spreading the. Well, I would assume spreading the cost out.
Exactly.
You know,
That's my point.
But
right?
it doesn't make sense then why, except for like state taxes, why it's like $7 a gallon in California.
You never let a good tragedy go to waste.
Yeah.
Well,
So
California.
That's like politician 101.
Well, they've never let go of the prices on COVID.
Business 101.
There are very few things. I mean, some people, like
Once they get
Africa,
the price up,
start-
it's never coming down.
Well, that's
No,
what
never.
that was my
Yeah.
point.
Right.
Is gas did drop a little bit through somebody's office term, but then went back up again.
Sure.
And I'm not getting into politics
no.
at all. But lumber, prime example, has never gone back down.
It's leveled
crept down a little,
But it's never gone
But
back down.
it's
Not to
In
what it
my
was.
industry-
Yeah.
no, it's still ridiculous.
I don't know
the
about
price.
y'all, but in my industry, foam was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it was almost quadruple in price. And it was to the point where I would go into a distributor and I would find 10, 15 drum sets. And I'd be like pulling out every credit card I had to buy all of it because I might not get it again.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to get politicianish for just a second. Trump
That's it. I'm done.
Trump was he wasn't forced into a situation, but the car manufacturing was in a hard spot because there is a FOA, it's made, that is the blowing agent in all foams, mattresses.
What's FA?
It's a blowing agent that goes into the resin side.
You don't know what it stands for though. What did you say?
It's a blowing agent.
FOA? Is
It's
that what?
FOA,
Okay.
and there's multiple different ones, but the government's made it to where it was almost impossible to produce it in the U.S., so it all went to China.
Okay.
And then when they shut this down, we were already at a what do you want to call it?
Just-in-time
At a negative,
inventory.
right? We were almost at a negative anyway. And in my industry, we're like, all spray foamers out there, I love you anyway, but we're like the bastard stepchild because all the OEMs get it first. Car manufacturers, manufacturers of mattresses, pillows, so on and so forth. Foam is in everything. I mean, it truly is.
Under
And people
shingles.
they just don't realize it. And he realized that with all the government restrictions, we had a problem, right? So they started building a plant in Texas City. And when they turned that shipping container, the ship sideways in the canal, right? Everybody was like, oh, here we go. The day that happened, the next day, Huntsman had a letter in the mail. We're going up in price again. I mean, they were raising the price of the stuff that they had on the ground, not what they were making.
Right.
But, it was. We called it Foamageddon. That's how bad it was. But what
That's
transpired is now that plant in Texas City makes more than every manufacturer in the United States can take.
But the price still hasn't gone down.
So it has a little bit, but the reason it has is because the manufacturers kept it up for so long that every day you'd see a small businessman like me go, I can't do it. I'm out of business. Selling my rig. And then the next year at the convention, they blatantly came out and asked us, like, I don't understand. Why isn't anybody buying more foam than what they are? And we're all looking at them like, you put half of them out of business.
Yeah. You drove
Of
them
course,
out.
nobody's buying more foam because there's not as many of us out there.
Yeah.
So, it's self-correcting, but it's long coming, right? The greed has hurt my industry terribly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it has with yours with like
Don't get me
Freon
started on Freon.
and
I will get legitimate, but that's a whole separate podcast.
But now
We could
they've
go
even
down a tangent
changed-
with it.
you know too.
35 years in HVAC sitting here.
Right. But haven't
Yeah.
they just announced it?
Oh, it's changing again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Of course it is.
Well, they're doing that for a reason.
because they can sell all
Money.
new units.
Well,
Money,
all right. So
money.
I had this conversation with somebody. Not to go, it's kind of a tangent little deal, but we're
I
on
love
HVAC.
tangents.
So I've got a lot of experience in the HVAC department.
Right.
So I was slinging them in attics in the 80s when I was 17. And what happened with the way they used to build air conditioning, and I watched this for a fact. General Electric was in Tyler, Texas. My dad used to put screws in them. That was his job, was to put them together.
Right.
Well, he got into the sales program, and that's when they put Snowball. And for those listening that don't know what Snowball is, Snowball was one of the first train compressors ever manufactured. And they wanted to show the life expectancy of a train compressor. So they set this thing and hooked it up. It was running. No fan, no coils, no nothing. They just wanted it to run to see how long it would last. 22 years. 22 years this thing ran.
And then they said, "Oop, that was a mistake."
That's where I'm going with people.
Hello.
People used to go, and that was part of the tour. So you go tour the train factory.
Jay used to tell me about that.
In Tyler, Texas. I grew up in White House, where Patrick Mahomes is. Played football. I went to the same high school. So
Quality of football players got a lot better as it went along, didn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't play football. I was in a band. So I still play drums. So I had my buddy
you go.
right there,
There we go.
rocking. Yeah. So we taught music. Anyway, where I was going with this is they used to make things, including appliances, including everything else back in the day. They tried to figure out how to manufacture something to actually last a lifetime, which usually equated to 20 or 22 to 25 years. It was a considered lifetime. There's still refrigerators and Amana refrigerators and freezers and GEs and electrics and Frigidairs that are still running today. And maybe not very efficiently, but they're still
operating,
kicking.
yeah.
Right. So they designed everything to last a lifetime back then. Then they realized they're putting themselves out of business because all we're selling is parts. So in the 80s, I watched this whole shift into air conditioning, and in the 90s is really when I started getting in the sales part of it, and I started watching that longevity shrink from 20 years to 15 years to life expectancy 7 to 10 years. So when I started selling them for a company out of Naples, Florida, after I'd thrown them in attics between Texas and Kentucky, and all kinds of different applications and all that stuff, they were 22 years, pretty much lifespan. I went down there and it's like, 7 to 10. Why? Environment? It's like, the salt water will eat the coils away, and they won't last as long depending on how far you are. But then I'd go see a General Electric that had been manufactured, and it's on the water, on a high rise, on a condo, and the thing was built in 1975 and it's still running. The cabinet's completely rusted away from it,
right.
and it's still cooling. But I'm sitting here going to tell them their new replacement's going to last 7 to 10 because they're designed to fail.
Sure.
And then when they designed them not failing fast enough, then they changed the refrigerant. And that's when the Puron came out with Carrier environmentally friendly refrigerant, R410A. That came out right in the early 90s, going into late 80s, early 90s, and they started making that switch. They were the first ones that had it. And then everybody else is like, well, Carrier figured something out. So when they started figuring that out, everybody jumped on the bandwagon. So we had this whole R22 to R410A switch, and everybody's like, oh my God, I can't get R22. Yep, they will. They just doubled the price on it. And then they started slowly just like putting down manufacturing, so that way supply and demand drove the cost.
Sure.
So very shortly, and everybody's like, oh, we just got into R410A. No, we didn't. We've been in R410A since the 90s. The thing about it is it feels like it's new because they produced R22 until a couple of years ago. So a lot of people haven't even got past the R22 to R410A switch, depending on what type of contractor you are.
Right.
The ones that are on their game, efficiency, like Jehu and Jojo, they know what, Mitsubishi mini splits. They got the technology's there. But if you're dealing with an old school guy, Billy Joe, Bobby Sue, whatever his name, from, little podunk town in nowhere land, they're still slinging air conditioning, and they just switched over.
Joe Bob. That's what he was looking for.
Yeah,
They've
Joe Bob,
switched. They
Joe Bob,
also-
Billy Bob, Joe
R410A
Bob.
is not the best one anymore. They've switched it again.
Yes.
Recently.
Well,
I
that's-
don't remember what it is.
Well,
but
that's where I was going. They experimented with like 5 different refrigerants, and they've got one that they're coming out with. I'm not going to misquote because I don't know it.
Yeah, I'd have to
but
Jehu would.
But there's a couple that are actually on the market that are acceptable. So it's
Like
going to be.
you can like swap them out.
Yeah, because what they've now done is they've made what's called drop-in refrigerant. So you've got coils and compressors that will actually run with a drop-in. Now, here's the problem. It's not as efficient, but it will work. So that way you don't have to replace your equipment. You can drop in a different type of refrigerant, or you can mix match equipment so it doesn't both have to be manufactured for the high head pressures of R410A, which double the pressures on R22.
That's crazy stuff.
So anyway.
The more
Like-
you know.
All right, I just went on an air conditioning tangent. Sorry about
the
that.
whole thing is called planned obsolescence.
Yes, well, that's
And
where I
like-
was going with
yeah,
that.
this is, but like companies are starting to get sued over this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As they should.
And watch this transition. And the way you combat planned obsolescence, especially with the appliances in your home, is you call Lone Star Appliance Repair. The
Absolutely.
sponsor of this show. You can reach them at 936-647-2364. You can give them a call. You can text them. They will come out. They will give you a evaluation of your equipment. They will let you know what you need to be done. I actually referred them to a client of mine recently because she had a really messed up dishwasher, and parts of it had cracked. It was and she was like, "How much is it going to cost to replace this thing?" And I was like, "Man, I don't even know." We just lost my camera. That's fine. I'll be.
Have you heard their new tagline?
It was the Eclipse.
It was the Eclipse.
Done.
I have not heard their new tagline. What is it?
Yeah, I came up with it and last week actually.
What was it again?
From glitch to glory, let Lone Star Appliance rewrite your appliance story.
There you go.
That's right. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, if you have something broken, if you need something looked at, you need the lint cleaned out of the dryer, give them a call, 936-647-2364. Thank you guys for being a sponsor. And I'm going to see if I can get my camera back on. Y'all carry on.
Carry on,
my wayward son.
Here we go.
Okay, I want to bring you back, guys. I want you to put your tinfoil hats on. I'm going to say some things that are really going to, like, test your cognitive thinking, and you're going to want to react. But listen, okay?
Okay.
So.
Is there a test?
No. Let me adjust the hat. So, I was reading some declassified CIA documents one day, as a girl does, girl things. And there was something I read called the Gateway Experience, and it's only about like 27, 28 pages. So like it's not that difficult of a read. And they were talking about, are y'all familiar with what us like woo-woo girls called manifesting is? Like what is manifesting? Are you familiar with that term?
I'm familiar with manifesting. I'm not sure what terminology or what road we're fixing to go down.
You're still with me. Good. Okay. So they literally like scientifically were testing that, talking about, they call it the Gateway Experience. Only back then they called it patterning. And there was like scientists, and of course I didn't do the research to see if the scientist was even like legit or not, or what he was known for, but they were saying that patterning, aka what we call manifesting, is scientifically proven to be real, and that you can change your reality not solely on like what you think, like I'm gonna be the next Kobe Bryant. Like obviously I'm 5'4", I'm not gonna be the next Kobe Bryant, but the way that you think, the energy that you send out, I'd have to
if you
pull it back
think
up
it,
again.
you will become, right?
It can become that, and you will become that. So that's why during the eclipse, I was really right, because one of my friends, I really respect her.
I bought a lottery ticket. Does that count?
It definitely
I was like, damn it, I'm going to buy a lottery ticket. This is my last chance in 20 years to do it.
Yeah.
If I die, I'm going to die with numbers in my pocket.
That's right. And her whole...
I mean, this reminds me of Derek Jeter's... I love this comment that he says. He goes, when you manifest, you have to be careful what you manifest about. Mm-hmm. So if you step up to the tee and you tell yourself, don't shank it, don't shank it, don't shank it, don't shank it, what are you going to do?
You're going to shank it.
Right? And I think that's got a lot...
what you are putting out
in the world. Right.
Yes.
So, your subconscious...
That's a Skeeter. Good job.
Yes, thank you.
Got
Excalibur Pest Control.
You saved her.
Well,
from the Zinca.
All the day's work.
That was one of my breeders, Steve. Thank you.
You're welcome.
that was carrying the Zinca.
That's bad for his business.
That goes back to...
we need to put mask on.
Shortening the lifespan of your pest control experience.
But really, y'all gotta look that up.
No,
the Gateway Experience.
I think that has a lot to, but I think that, it goes back to the same fact that, and I'm agreeing with you, is, we all have these tapes in our head, right? So when you screw something up, right, you immediately, your subconscious goes, that coach or that teacher or that person that influenced you said, I knew you're dumb. You big idiot. What were you thinking?
I just called myself stupid.
Right? And so you replay that tape in your head. Well, that's justifiable. I knew I was dumb. I shouldn't have done that, blah, 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 blah. And as life goes on, right, you have to stop and you have to rewrite those tapes multiple times in your life, right?
Yes.
At every level that you go to, right? Mm-hmm. And I agree with that. There's a book, Kenny King, if she's watching or listening or not, business coach. She was instrumental in really helping me turn how I operate in business, but she had me do a book, and it was called Life's Golden Ticket, and it is a fictional.
You told me about that.
I know,
Yes.
It is a fictional story, and it has a Christian underline to it, but it's all about breaking that cycle of those tapes in your head, right? Because we all have them, right? And
absolutely.
Up until, I don't know, until I was like 40 some years old, I didn't realize how dangerous self-talk was. Right? I mean, you and I could have an argument, and I would leave, and I would literally replay that argument 13 different ways from Sunday. The time I seen you the next time, I wanted to rip your skull off your head, right? Because I'm just furious, and you had nothing to do with it, right? And that's that stopping that cycle. So I do agree with what they're saying, and I believe it. I think that I think it's as powerful as you want to give it power.
Yes, I think it definitely, there could be like some placebo effects in that. And if you
think?
keep, well, like that is the definition of a placebo effect. If I take this like random pill, but if I'm telling myself I'm going to feel better, even though it's a sugar pill, or if it's like a IV of just like, you know, saline, or, but they're telling me like, this is going to
Cure cancer.
And then I'm thinking, okay, my cancer is going to be cured. I'm taking the steps in the right direction. I'm starting to live like my cancer will be cured. I am reprogramming myself to be that way. And there are instances, some people call them miracles. Some people, you know, think a little bit different, a little more woo-woo, like they did it themselves. A woo-woo, like in a respectable way, like not trying to like, be condescending to those type of people, because I actually really buy into it a lot.
Well,
but that's just the best way I can put it. Like witchy, like people that are open to the possibility of fill in the blank.
Seances?
Well, yeah, I think that's totally real.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but that's why I don't mess with that.
I think we had to play with a Ouija board right now. I mean, we got a
Absolutely
solar eclipse.
not.
I want to
Yes,
go
with
to
solar
to the
eclipse,
fuse box.
Ouija
and I wanna
board.
flip the
I
lights
will
on and off
literally
for you.
leave. Like,
Let's
no,
light
I
some.
don't
Hey,
mess
where's
with
your
that.
candles at, dude? Come on.
We don't do that here at the
No, we
Williams
don't.
Ranch.
No, I wouldn't let you. No.
You
On
know,
a solar
That's
eclipse
scary.
day, we might unlock some zombies.
you know,
We already are
That was
zombies.
That was if you got the jab.
This is us. That's fair. Actually, I did get it because I wanted to see relatives, and they were like very like, if you don't get it, we're not. Because I was
if that's the
thinking,
excuse that I don't have to see some of my relatives,
Right.
dude, I'm never getting it. I swear to God.
two types of people.
like,
Sorry, I can't
Never
go to the
happened,
family
baby.
reunion.
Never happened, and ain't gonna.
All I could think of, like, all of the other terrible things I've ingested in my lifetime, whether it be drugs or alcohol or that random punch at a frat party. And
Drugs
I
are
was like,
bad.
you know, like,
Okay.
and then I was vaccinated as a kid. So I'm like, what's another one? It's free.
Yeah.
That's never,
That was the whole
and I
thing.
turned out
Yeah.
just fine, guys.
Free.
It was
That was
free.
free was the whole thing. That's why she sat up. The government's paying for this one. Here we go.
Well, and then they also talked about it being microchip. But my thing is, and I love people, I really do.
But
You're not that important. You're not that important. No one
cattle.
cares.
Or
And you
cattle.
already are chipped. It's right here. So
Yeah,
Same.
you are tracked.
already
I mean,
are
you're
tracked.
a
Like,
cyborg
get
already.
over it.
Electronic leash.
So,
seriously.
but so
Absolutely.
like I want to piggyback on what you guys were talking about, because I talked to a group of young adults not too long ago, and I was talking to them about horses, but you're talking about manifesting stuff in your own life, and I think most of us are kind of at the point in our lives where we're beginning to have influence on people who are either in our work sphere or the kids that we're raising and all these kinds of things. And one of the things that I told them, it was something I picked up from a book that I read, and it was specifically about horses. But it was, don't name them things that you don't want them to become.
Amen.
You know, and so like with horses, it's like, you know, like that son of a gun is just a bucking mother, and it's never going to be anything different. And we do the same thing with our kids. Like, you know, like you're just stubborn. You're just, you know.
well, if you preach it to them long enough,
Yeah, they become.
well, they own it.
They
They
become
think
the
it's a
thing.
badge of
Your
honor
child
at
did
that point,
that,
right?
absolutely.
My dad said I was stubborn, and I'm gonna do. You know.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what did I create?
Because
right?
you
For
begin to
good or
believe the
bad.
things that people say about you.
100%.
Well, I mean, I'm a. We were talking about
I
this.
know.
I know.
I didn't
I was
want to
waiting
mention
for
it
it.
until. Okay.
We were talking about this, and I'm very ADHD. I know, but I'm very dyslexic too. And when I went through school, we were talking about this earlier, and you know, my counselor at school basically told me, Steve, you're not smart enough to graduate on your own. Don't worry, we'll get you through.
Yeah.
Just go back to shop class, right? And so I grew up my whole life with somebody, and this is where reading this book, right? Rewrite the tape, right? And, you know, my whole life, I've had internal dialogue saying that I'm stupid.
Yep.
I'm an idiot.
Yep.
I'm dumb. I'm not good enough to do this, that, or the other way. And somewhere along the line, and it's probably my wife is probably what probably really spurred me on to become something better than what I thought was in my lot for my life, right? And that was that, you know, that anchor, that rock, that new voice in your head going, hey, why can't you do that?
Yeah.
Well, you're not dumb. What do you mean, you know? And you know, going back to what you said, you know, don't name something that you don't want it to become, right?
Yeah.
You know, as you and I are more of this than, but he probably does it more than a lot of people, is we have to be careful in our spot in life because we have people watching us all the time. And for good or bad, we got to be careful because we're setting the example. We're setting the bar every day. I show up at work. I meet with young business people. I meet with, you know, high school age children. I'm at the rodeo. I'm dealing with, you know, them or whatever. And you've got to be careful because they're watching.
Right.
And they're learning and you don't realize it. Right. And I can tell you that, you know, even in my lifetime, I sat back and I watched, you know, my dad and some of my dad's friends and stuff. And there was a guy, his name was Ron Bronnenberg, and he died in an airplane crash when I was younger. But I've always used him as a gauge of like the business person that you are, right? Because he was the kind of guy that he would work on something and throw the tools on the ground and walk away. And my dad would be like, hey, what are you doing? And he'd be like, it cost me more money to go put those away. I can just go buy new ones when I'm ready. He was, you know, moving and shaking all the time, right? Yeah. And I always thought to myself, wow, like if I left my dad snap-on wrenches lay in the dirt, you know, I would limp for a month, right? Because, you know, he's going to tan my
I'd have
high.
to take them out of my leg where my dad threw them so hard they hit me in the leg and went in.
Yeah, you know, and when I had to put wrenches
we grew up a little different.
They had to be wiped off and clean and all pointed in the right direction because they were snap-ons, right? And so, you know, to be in a realm where somebody's like, it's a tool, I don't care. I'll go get another one when I'm ready because I'm making that much money.
Correct.
Right?
It's a mindset.
It is. And you have to be able to shift gears, right?
Yeah.
I grew up in the save everything. I don't waste, try to fix it.
Yep, me too.
I mean, hell, we didn't even have air conditioning until I was in middle school. We had attic fans. True story. In East Texas with 110 degrees.
Whew.
Yeah.
Not even a swamp cooler?
No.
Come on.
No.
Yeah, I did not grow up like that.
My story, we could talk for a while. It's it's buckle it down. Hell, I started working when I was 12. I was cutting grass at 10. I was throwing papers. I did everything. I figured out how to make a living because my parents didn't have it, and I wanted to do things, and I wanted more. So I had 3 jobs in high school, played in 2 different bands, and still got sports done. Still made the honor roll A's, and put myself to college. So,
but look at the work ethic, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's where I struggle being a parent, is trying to compare my sons to me, and I can't do that.
Right.
It's not fair.
No, and
but
they
I
live
also,
in a different world than you did.
Right. So, but you can also instill into them, and this kind of goes along with how you grew up and what we're talking about, is worth ethic and not giving them everything. You might be richer than God. I mean, you might have billions of dollars. Why give it to them?
Absolutely.
Make them earn it. Because
hard times make good men.
Right.
Good times make, how's it go? Hard times make good men. Good men make
good times.
Good times make weak men.
Yeah.
Right. And
I agree with you.
Well, it's strength of character. So it's a moral-based compass and trying to set in the right direction and trying to instill the things that will get you through the hard times not the good times. We don't prepare for the good times. We prepare for the worst times. Kind of like our preppers that we talked about, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the skill set to handle the rough times, how are you going to handle the good times?
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to indulge. You're going to spend. You're going to waste. You're going to do all the wrong things. If you know where it comes from and you know how to do the hard, doing the easies, that's the cake.
Well, the biggest struggle for me was the difference between raising boys and girls.
Oh, tell me. I only have a girl. I'm scared.
So in the Spoon household, the rule is if you weren't involved in something, I'm going to make you get involved in something.
Yes,
right?
yes,
Because
totally.
if you're not involved in
Same.
something, you'll get involved in the wrong
something
thing,
else.
right?
Right.
And
Yes.
so
Yep.
there was a rule that you were on honor roll, and there was a rule that you had at least one extracurricular activity. And as long as you were,
I love
I don't
that.
care if it was the debate club, baseball, swimming, I
Underwater
did not-
basket weaving.
Yeah, I didn't care what it was, but
Yeah.
it had to be
That was
one.
fun. I enjoyed that class.
But
Sure did.
you had to be in one, right? And as long as you were in one and stay on the honor roll, you never had to get a job because your job was school, point blank, right?
That's how I was
and,
raised.
And I was not raised that way. I was raised, I'm going to give you whatever you bare necessities you need. And if you want something above and beyond that, you better go figure it out for yourself.
Total opposite. Got
Right?
a pony for my
So-
birthday.
Yeah, I bet
So,
you did.
You know, to me, that was really
Yeah.
hard because I wanted to judge my son Wyatt differently than I wanted to judge my daughter. I wanted to just give my daughter,
Aw,
but I wanted him to earn every ounce of it.
Right.
And
fun how that works.
it was a hard pill for me to swallow
Yeah.
to try to make them the same, right? And
You got a you got a pony, right? How old were you?
Gosh, 5?
You had a pony when you're 5.
5.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh well, my dad.
I had to cut grass for a bicycle.
No. So
Yeah.
have you ever heard of something called Enron?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll just kind of leave it there.
All right, there you go. I knew people that lost
We've
their
gotten-
butts on Enron. So,
yeah.
yeah, I got a drum set
Yeah.
for my birthday, and I'd been playing drums, and I wanted a drum set because I was playing in bands, and I was like, man, I want a drum set. My parents brought me home a drum set. You know what else they brought me home?
Oh no.
The bill?
The coupon book of the 24 payments I was going to have to make on it.
I wasn't far off. Was
They
I?
paid the first
yeah,
$56 to get it out of the store, and I got the rest of the 24, and I had to pay the payment every month for my birthday present. But you know
Okay.
what? But you know what? I still have it.
Aw, that's sweet.
What kind is it?
It's a pearl.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, but it's so true. I
My
didn't learn
favorite's
the
the one
value
I
of
got
a
after
dollar
that. It's
for a long
hand rub
time.
lacquer. It's opaque. It's an emerald green. It's a 7-piece kit. It's a custom session.
Yeah.
Took me 6 months to get that one in, and
Nice.
it is beautiful. Yeah, it's still the one I play.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
And that was back in
That's good,
'94.
though. That's cool.
So if you guys are up for it, there's what you guys were talking about with like what rich parents do to their kids. Have you ever seen the movie
was that kid?
McClintock? It's the old John Wayne movie.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going old school.
So
Yeah.
he's like this guy in New Mexico that just owns like everything. He owns all the property. He's the richest guy in the state or the territory at the time, and his daughter's kind of spoiled. And so and so he gives her this speech towards the end of the movie. It's just like 2 minutes here. It might be a good place to end the show.
Okay.
Just because we're coming up on an hour and a half. I mean,
Is that ideal?
no, I mean it doesn't matter to me. I mean we've gone 2 hours before, but I know everybody's got early stuff in the morning.
But I just love the company.
Oh man, I dig it for sure.
Yeah.
As long as you keep paying me, I'll stay here. No, just kidding.
Well, we can.
Wait, we're getting paid?
No.
Well, yeah, we'll split the
In
split the
spades.
profits.
Sure.
But we can watch the clip and then kind of sign off at the end if you guys are game for it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's watch. Oh, you guys can listen. Everybody else gets to watch. Let's pull this up here. There we go. That's the one.
Becky, come here. something I ought to tell you. Guess now's as good a time as any. You're gonna have every young buck west of the Missouri around here trying to marry you. Mostly because you're a handsome filly. But partly because I own everything in this country from here to there. They'll think you're gonna inherit it. Well, you're not. You're gonna leave most of it to, well, to the nation, really. For a park where no lumberman will cut down all the trees for houses with leaky roofs. Nobody will kill all the beaver for hats for dudes, nor murder the buffalo for robes. What I'm gonna give you is a 500 cow spread on the upper Green River. Now, that may not seem like much. It's more than we had, your mother and I. Some folks are gonna say I'm doing all this so I can sit up in the hereafter and look down on a park named after me. Or that I was disappointed in you. Didn't want you to get all that money. But the real reason, Becky, is because I love you. And I want you and some young man to have what I had. Because all the gold in the United States Treasury and all the harp music in heaven can't equal what happens between a man and a woman with all that growing together. I can't explain it any better than that.
That's that. Oh, it's so good.
That's very much like my dad. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why the divorce rate's like 70% now.
The shootist.
Oh yeah.
They're growing, quit growing, man.
That's right.
Now they're like, who's got more money, and they're gone.
That's right. That's right. She got a little less pretty. Is that?
Yeah, that was 1950 mentality.
Yeah.
The new mentality is who's bigger, better, and a better Friday night, right? So,
Yep.
yeah.
Sure.
The BBD, bigger, better deal.
Well, y'all, thank y'all so much for indulging me on this weird episode on a weird day.
Anytime you want to get weird, call us.
Yes.
Yeah, we like to get weird.
Steve's like, I'm not signing off on that at all. Yeah, Steve.
That's another tape. I got to rewrite in my head.
That's the clip. That's just the clip.
For our next podcast, it's how weird can we get?
All right, real quick, round robin. If people want to get in touch with you, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, I don't know if I want people to get in touch with me.
Maybe not the ones watching this episode.
Maybe I'm just going to go to Costa Rica.
That's fair. Maybe we should all just go. We should just go.
Corey Reaves, Reaves Realty Group, husband and wife team, specializing in real estate, lots, land, buying, selling, and rentals. Anyway, y'all need me? Call me, 281-932-2423. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode as much as we did.
Awesome. Who's up? You? Yep,
Okay.
go.
Victory Insulation, Victory Windows. Don't you deal with the itchy stuff. Let us take care of it.
There you go.
If you want to look for us, go ahead and we're www.victoryinsulation.com, or you can contact us at 832-693-8115.
Cool. Jojo.
You want to get a hold of me? Put on your tinfoil hat. Think really hard. I'll come through to you. Do your research. Find me. Google me. Jojo Trumbly. You'll find me.
Awesome. Thank you guys. If you have not yet, be sure and hit the like, the subscribe, all the buttons, all the love. Be safe out there. We still got a couple hours of this wacky, crazy day left.
They haven't caught me yet.
That's right.
Still running.
So thank you guys for jumping on the stream.
Speed bumps.
Be sure and hit all the buttons. You guys take care. See ya.
Peace.